Can you see it? Hey, everybody. Oh, there's some folks coming in on a Sunday afternoon. Where are folks joining from today? If you come in, just pop into the chat. I would love to know. Oh, that's my dog Arthur, who's I think gonna join and hang with us. Hi, Becca. Folks joining from. Welcome, welcome. Well, welcome to my home in Atlanta. I'm really grateful to be here after some weeks on the road. Um, home today, and we're having a big hometown launch tomorrow at the Jimmy Carter Presidential Library, which is really incredibly special. That's tomorrow evening. But it's also really special to get to do this pre-publication celebration with y'all, coming in from Chicago, wherever folks are. And I was thinking this morning about this book. Hi, Amy, also in Atlanta. I was thinking about this morning, kind of on the cusp of publication, that this is both a real joy to have a creative project coming into the world that I've been tending for a while. And also, I wish the world didn't need this book. And so there's kind of this, joy and heaviness all at the same time. Hello, Ellie, in New Jersey. Oh, we're getting maybe a cat joiner maybe with us at some point today. So here we are in a world that needs our contributions, and hopefully this book is going to be part of meeting that. Seeing folks over the last couple of weeks has just made it really clear how much ache there is in this community at this time. As promised, this is Chi. He never misses a moment to be on or near the screen. If you're just joining, let us know where you're joining from. We'd love to know. And we're here to talk about this book. This is Climate Wayfinding. It's the book that I've been working on for a while now. For those who are just joining, I'm Dr. Katharine Wilkinson. The book is Climate Wayfinding, Healing Ourselves and the Planet We Call Home. Hi, Becca, thanks for sharing that you're in Brooklyn. This is the book that's come out of the flagship program of the All We Can Save Project, which is the nonprofit that I lead that grew out of the All We Can Save anthology that Dr. Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson and I co-edited back in 2020. Oh, beautiful. Ale from Monterrey, Mexico. Rihanna, hi from Denver. Rihanna, maybe I'm not sure which is the right pronunciation. Welcome, welcome. It's really nice to get to be with you all on this Sunday afternoon. And I thought, well, this is really going to test my capacities on this technology, but I thought it might be nice to share a video with you all about what this work is all about.
It is no small thing to be human on Earth. Here, on this ground, under these skies, we are home. So when the climate shifts and the places we love are hurting, it feels personal. We feel the tug to do something, but there are so many paths and so many saying, act now, do more, be better. The heat, the seas, the losses are rising, time is running out. Pause. Let's take a breath. Urgency and overwhelm keep us stuck. We don't need more information. We need orientation. A practice to find true north within the swirl. That's Climate Wayfinding. It begins with the questions we hold. What is mine to do? Where do I belong? What path is worthy, no matter how rocky it gets? We look inward with care to follow our emotions and offer our superpowers. We look outward with curiosity to surface solutions and connect with community. And then we look forward, not with certainty, but courage, to orient with vision and journey onward with a clear compass. Each of us is a node of possibility. Whoever we are, whatever we've got to give. And when one connects to another, nodes become networks. Scattered concern becomes shared direction. And we realize, I am not too small. I am not too late. I am an essential part of Earth's abundance. And when we find our place within it, the healing begins.
Magic. This kind of thing is really not my forte, the tech production of it all, but I think that worked. Let me know if the little blue dot made it to y'all out there in the wilds of the internet. And if you're just joining, I'm Dr. Katharine Wilkinson. We're here today to talk about this new book, Climate Wayfinding, Healing Ourselves and the Planet We Call Home, which is coming out on Tuesday. Birthday of this book is Cinco de Mayo. Thank you for lovely comments. Jason, cool video. Thank you. Let us know where you're joining from, folks. Would love to know. And if you have questions about the book, please do pop those into the chat, and I'll make my way through some of them. But this is a unique book, Climate Wayfinding, in the sense that it is a book, obviously, and it's got things in it that are book things, essays, poetry by the likes of Ada Limon, Tracy K. Smith, Jane Hirschfield, just incredible poets contributed to this book. There are stories that we call Lighting the Way stories, bringing forward the wisdom of other climate leaders, Colette Pichon Battle, Wahala Johns, Kate Marvel, Sherry Mitchell, Sister True Dedication, a whole bunch of amazing folks who are leading on this in all different ways. Jason, awesome. You're in Atlanta. Me too. And Amy, also in Atlanta. Wit in Atlanta. We've got some good vibes in Atlanta. And for folks who know the book, The Artist's Way, I think in some ways this book is something like The Artist's Way for climate or for our earth lives, and not just our creative lives, although I think there's a big intersection between those two. So in addition to the pieces of the book you can read, there's also a whole bunch of interactive content. There are journaling prompts, creative mapping exercises. There's even a reading group experience that's built right into these chapters, because at the end of the day, we know that so many folks are feeling stuck. Lots of people care about this amazing planet where we live. Lots of people want to see action, and a lot of people are having a hard time answering the question, what can I do? And this book is not just about giving you a punch list of answers, but it's about helping you work your way into your own unique answers to that, not just to tick off a few things, but to really think about how your gifts, your life, your contributions could show up in this time. And it's based on a program that we've been running at the All We Can Save Project for 4 years now, called also Climate Wayfinding. And it's now, there's a network of facilitators across the US and Canada who run this program. But we wanted to put it into the hands of anyone who might need some help on their climate journey, whether you're just starting out, or maybe you've been in this work a long time and you're feeling exhausted. You might be feeling sad. You might be feeling angry. You might be a young person who's looking around and wondering what all of this is going to mean for your life and maybe also for your work. You might be someone who is wishing you didn't feel so isolated on this topic, that you had a sense of community. So all of that is what this book is here to support. And by some magic of technology, if you want to get a signed copy of the book, this platform that we are on today can help make that happen. So if you're on Instagram or Facebook, you can just drop the word shop into a comment and you'll get a link. If you're on YouTube, the link is right there in the description. You can just click on it. And if you're in this platform called Talk Shop Live, you just click the button that you'll see right there. So signed books by me will make their way out to you all in about a week. So let's take some questions, and if you're keen to pop some questions in, please do that. Um, Will's asking about how did I begin my journey, and what's the biggest piece of advice for someone that's looking to start. I think a lot of people are probably holding that question, so thank you for that, Will. Um, in a lot of ways, my journey started now 27 years ago and counting. I was a high school sophomore and I spent a semester living in the woods in Western North Carolina in the Southern Appalachians. And yeah, living in the woods with 25 kids, which there's many stories to tell about that. But for me, it was a real kind of awakening time. I was reading the poetry of Mary Oliver, Daniel Quinn's novel Ishmael, Annie Dillard, Terry Tempest Williams. And I was also encountering the real ecological wounds of that part of the world: mountaintop removal, coal mining, and clear cutting for industrial forestry. And I was feeling so both enlivened by feeling like deeply connected to, yeah, I agree. I'm not sure what your name is, but Tenacious C says all great authors and books, and I couldn't agree more. Um, I was heartbroken and I was felt super convicted about trying to find a way to help. And I wrote in my little handbound journal at the time, I want to help the world be connected with the earth and change the way I live. Christine, we have revealed a name. Thank you, Christine. Um, and I had absolutely no idea what that would mean for kind of my path forward from there. So I've been navigating my own path in climate for now 27 years and counting, zigzagging, hitting plenty of crossroads, certainly a few dead ends, and realizing that we needed more spaces for this kind of collective navigation in this time, spaces for sense making, for holding our big questions, for holding the big feelings that we may feel about living on an earth that's changing as much as it's changing, and that's hurting as much as it's hurting. So that's kind of where I began. And I have worked on a number of different books. My first book was called Between God and Green, which was based on my PhD research that came out in 2012. I was the lead writer for the book Drawdown that came out in 2017, which was a compendium of kind of 100 climate solutions. Basically, what do we have in the toolbox that we can put to work? Not sort of someday maybe solutions, but things that already exist here and now. And then in 2020, I co-edited the volume All We Can Save with Ayanna Elizabeth Johnson, which was a collection of writings, essays, poetry, and art by 60 women who are leading on climate in all different ways. But I felt like in this moment, we needed not just a book that talks to you, but a book that can walk with you. Because so many of us feel overwhelmed with the amount of information, and what we need is orientation. We need proven practices that can help us work our way into the next steps forward and the next steps forward. So that's what's in this book. A few folks have asked kind of what's the theme of the book, what's the core of the book. It's about how we navigate this increasingly mapless world of ours, how we strengthen our compasses to do exactly that. And it uses a core framework of looking inward with care, looking outward with curiosity, and looking forward with courage, not with certainty, but with courage. And it's that kaleidoscope that gets created with those three lenses that actually helps us like see more clearly a path forward. And I love kaleidoscopes so much that Ayana sent me one in the aftermath of publishing All We Can Save Together. So, the thing that's interesting about a kaleidoscope is it helps you keep turning and turning and turning. Um, so, yeah, maybe what I'll do actually is I'll read a little bit from the book. And for folks who are just joining, welcome. Really glad for you to be here. And there's a few kind of nitty gritty things. If you would like to gain access to a signed copy of the book, you can do that. You can comment the word shop and you'll get a link on Facebook or Instagram. And if you're on YouTube, you can just click the link in the description. But it was really a pleasure to get to sign some book plates to make it to folks who won't be able to come to an event for the book tour, a live event. And I'm also going to pop into you all a link for, I think this link will get through to you, hopefully. If not, you can just Google climatewayfinding.earth, and that'll also take you to information about reading groups, which is a really important part of this book as well. So certainly a book you could just sit down and read solo, but it'll really thrive, I think, as a book read in community. And there are over 200 reading groups that are already in motion with friends, with colleagues, with students, with maybe some courageous folks who are going to do it with family members, folks who, can see the need for strengthening our relational webs in this time. But I was thinking about this passage from the book because I'm here at my desk where I did most of the work of writing this book. And out this way, I look out at some amazing trees just out the window of our condo. So this is from the chapter called "Offering Our Superpowers." You'll see when you see the book, there's beautiful art, potato stamp inspired art that opens every chapter. That was done by our amazing partners at the design studio Ampersand, which is also here in Atlanta. So, offering our superpowers. I live in the very heart of Atlanta, Georgia, affectionately called the city in a forest. From my desk where I work most days, I look out onto a stand of trees. Right at canopy height, it is the perfect view for getting distracted, especially by our resident red-tailed hawk, who is strikingly visible in the loose thatching of bare winter limbs. Sudden squirrel scatter, and she alights on the branch of a maple tree to scan for potential prey. Her fleet perch and keen watch, her grandeur of feather and hunt, it breaks through the primacy of my screen and shakes me from the fathomless digital world. Interruption gladly received. Each time the hawk stops through these trees, I am struck by the sudden proximity of a taloned huntress to me, encased in my condo version of captivity. More than once, I have grabbed my phone to quickly frame the hawk and catch ill-focused evidence that I too am alert and alive. Enraptured by a raptor, I have slacked the flattened scene to my colleagues. Afternoon visitor, feather emoji, heart emoji, as if icons in miniature could limn her. But I am struck by another proximity too, between what the hawk does and who the hawk seems to be. Her doingness and her beingness are so close as to become one. I suspect this hawk has never once felt the nag of the question, what can I do? Not about the climate crisis, perhaps not about anything. What to do is something other animals seem to know innately and intimately, or perhaps don't need to know at all. Evolution has made things more complicated for us Homo sapiens, who ponder and puzzle. As essayist and author Margaret Rinkel writes, every living thing, every bird and mammal and reptile and amphibian, Every tree and shrub and flower and moss is pursuing its own vital purpose, a purpose that sets my human concerns in a larger context. As I watch the hawk's wings lift and lower and propel her back into the air, I marvel and muse whether life itself might offer another way in. What might open up for us if we shift the question ever so slightly from what can I do to who can I be, or who am I already? And in a lot of ways, that is kind of the core focus of that chapter, offering our superpowers, that we all carry within us extraordinary gifts, even when we think perhaps we don't. Um, and those gifts can be, I don't know, a little slippery sometimes, a little hard to pin down. And we use in the Climate Wayfinding program and in this chapter of the book kind of a set of somatic and reflective exercises to discern what are our sources of power, not external power over, but inner power welling up. What are our sources of deep joy? And where those two things come together, we often find, I think, what we might call our superpowers or our talents or our kind of greatest capacities. And all of those are so needed in this time. I think entirely too many people still think, well, if I'm not a scientist or I'm not a policy wonk or I'm not an activist, there's not a role for me in this. And that just couldn't be less true. Um, we even have research that some of the most effective climate messengers are not climate experts. They are nurses, they are hairdressers, they are the daughters of conservative fathers. So, folks who may never have actually studied this topic have really important roles to play. That's just one example. But as my friend Jamie Alexander has said, almost every job can be a climate job in some way. And so I really do think there's a contribution for all of us in our professional lives, in our shared public life, and also, ways that we can act in our personal lives that help us feel more connected to the future that we want and need. I know there are some folks who are just joining. I'm Dr. Katharine Wilkinson, author of this book, Climate Wayfinding, and co-founder and executive director of the All We Can Save project. And we are so excited for this book to carry out the core ideas and practices of our flagship program, Climate Wayfinding, out in the world to anyone who's got a local bookstore or a library card, and access to the internet. I mentioned earlier that we have over 200 reading groups that are forming to take the journey of climate wayfinding together. And we've built that right into the pages of every chapter. So if you're someone who is already tends climate community, or you're looking to build climate community, maybe you're an educator, maybe you've got a team that you help to lead and cultivate, any of those could be really amazing spaces to do a reading group. And you can find information about that on our website, which is climatewayfinding.earth. And I've mentioned this a couple of times, but for those who are new, if you would like a signed copy of this book, we did really beautiful book plates in partnership with Ampersand, our design studio, who did the absolutely gorgeous design of this book. Maybe I'll just hold up a few more because it's so beautiful. It really does deserve a little moment here in the spotlight. This is the chapter on surfacing solutions, and this is the potato stamped art from this chapter. There are a whole bunch of frameworks in this book that I think will be really useful to people. Oh, thank you. Thanks, y'all, for the cover love. This is one framework that we call let's see if I can get it in the middle for the Instagram folks. This is the Climate Compass, which is a tool that we use to pull together and synthesize these many, many threads of exploration that the program invites, that the book invites, to actually kind of synthesize and give us something that we can carry forward to remember, what did I tell myself when I was telling myself the truth? a tool to continue navigating as we go. Let's see if there are a few other questions in here. Gina asks, what is my greatest concern about the climate right now? Um, my greatest concern is that we are not moving anywhere near quickly enough or convictedly enough forward with the solutions that we already have. This was the amazing thing about the book Drawdown that I was the lead writer of that came out in 2017. Even at that time, we had most of the solutions that we need. 10 years later, those solutions have gotten better. Solar and wind power have become the cheapest sources of new electricity generation on the planet. We have batteries that can actually store that energy. Electric vehicles have gotten better. Regenerative agriculture practices have strengthened. Like there's just so many things that are, um, you know, they're already moving in the world in brilliant ways. They just need to move with more gusto. And what concerns me is that any of it, from policy change to technological innovation to building our resilience and capacities to cope with climate impacts as they land, you name it, all of it depends on people. And the trick is that we've got kind of amazingly a climate majority around the world. Upwards of 89% of people say that they want to see more action from governments to address this issue. But we have only a single digit percentage of people who have actually taken their care or their concern and put it to action in any way. And that is simply not going to cut it. We need climate leadership and climate engagement in every community, in every organization, literally an upwelling everywhere. And so we have to have more folks working with the question of what to do and who to be, and generatively answering it again and again in really deep ways, because the window for action still exists, but it is pretty rapidly closing, and too many people are feeling overwhelmed. Too many people are feeling alone. Too many people are feeling stuck. It is all really big stuff. And I think we need to be tending the human infrastructure of change, literally, not just our heads, not just our hands, but also our hearts. And all three we need to have to be able to move this work forward. So that's what keeps me up at night. That we've got too many people who care, but they're sitting on the sidelines, and too many people who have stepped into this work, but they're feeling burned out or they're bowing out. It's hard. It's hard to do this work every day, and I hope this work, this book, is going to arrive to folks as, yeah, as nourishment, as a practical resource, and hopefully as care in this time. Um, a few more folks have just joined. I'm Dr. Katharine Wilkinson. We're here. We're talking about Climate Wayfinding, which is my new book that's out on Tuesday. And this is a really special chance to take some questions and have some conversation pre-publication. And we've also got really delightfully signed books that if you would like to get a signed copy of this book and you can't make it to one of the live book tour stops, you can order that here. If you're on the Talk Shop Live platform, you just click the button. That's pretty easy. If you're watching on Instagram or Facebook, you can just comment the word shop. Sorry for the consumerism vibes there, but that's how the tech works. And you can get a link to order it. And if you're watching on YouTube, there's a link right there in the description. Let's see. Any other questions folks want to pop in? Yes. Oh, there's a question from Jason about if we buy books. Yes, they will be signed by me on really beautiful book plates that our partners Ampersand designed, especially for this. Gina also asks what I hope readers will take from reading this book. I really hope that they take that they matter, that they're needed, and that they belong in climate engagement, in whatever way, shape, or form makes sense for them, for their unique interests, talents, passions, contexts. As I write in the book, we are each a node of possibility for healing the climate crisis, whoever we are and whatever we've got to give. And I couldn't believe that more wholeheartedly. So um, I'm gonna read maybe one more passage from the book. If you've got any other burning questions or wonderings, please pop those into the chat. But this is from the very opening of the book, which is called, let's see if I can line this up, Preambling. You'll notice there's a little kind of compass here. And this is a welcome to the book, a welcome to the journey of climate wayfinding. Wherever you are on your climate journey, whether a long timer or newly curious, the approach of and practices in this book will serve you well. Perhaps you see climate as all-encompassing and paramount. Perhaps you consider it one piece in humanity's jigsaw puzzle of challenges. Or perhaps you notice it seeping increasingly into your life and work. The need to navigate is the same, as are the means to do so. As a facilitator and teacher, I have witnessed hundreds of people move through this experience and emerge with a newfound sense of clarity, courage, connection, and contribution. I have seen the metamorphosis of paralyzing ache into action. Climate wayfinding offers passage to firmer and more fertile ground where we can be with the wounds and be a part of mending them. Our moments of seeking are uniquely precious in the human experience. They rouse, they goad, they can send us down the slipway of healing and transformation, first in ourselves and then in expanding circles. To find our truest ways forward is, at heart, an act of generosity. There's a fresh scent in the wind. The terrain ahead is calling. Let's begin. So, yeah, I hope that all of you find something really helpful for wherever you are in your own climate journeys in this book. Um, it's a lot to navigate this time, to navigate the not at all small thing of being human on Earth. And yeah, I think this will be a really useful way to feel the feelings that you might be having, to surface the superpowers that you might offer, to identify the solutions that you would be most excited to be in kind of, I don't know, creative collaboration with, to think about what all of this means in your unique context with your unique communities, and ultimately to orient with vision and see a way forward. So I think what I'll do, maybe because so many new folks have joined, is I might just share the video one more time. And I'll just note, if you're new into this event today, if you'd like a signed copy of the book, they are available. I have signed some really beautiful book plates that our design partner Ampersand created. You can do that right in the Talk Shop Live platform if you're there. Click the button. If you're on Instagram or Facebook, you just comment the word shop. Again, apologies for the consumer vibes. That's the way the tech works. And you'll get a link to order. And if you're watching on YouTube, you just click the link in the description. It's easy as that. And I'll also throw in the chat, I think this makes its way out to you all, our website, which is climatewayfinding.earth. And you can find more there about the Climate Wayfinding program, our facilitator trainings, the reading groups that anyone can sign up to lead and will support you in doing that, and also where the rest of our events are for the book tour. And I just want to say an enormous thanks to everybody for spending some time with me, getting to know this book, Periwinkle book. That's really excited to get to see all of you This is one of those weird videos where it's like the opposite of the way you think it is. So sorry for my slightly wonky driving of the screen. And I'm going to play this video one more time that'll just share with new folks a little bit more about what climate wayfinding is all about.
It is no small thing to be human on Earth. Here, on this ground, under these skies, we are home. So when the climate shifts and the places we love are hurting, it feels personal. We feel the tug to do something, but there are so many paths and so many saying, act now, do more, be better. The heat, the seas, the losses are rising, time is running out. Pause. Let's take a breath. Urgency and overwhelm keep us stuck. We don't need more information. We need orientation. A practice to find true north within the swirl. That's climate wayfinding. It begins with the questions we hold. What is mine to do? Where do I belong? What path is worthy, no matter how rocky it gets? We look inward with care to follow our emotions and offer our superpowers. We look outward with curiosity to surface solutions and connect with community. And then we look forward, not with certainty, but courage, to orient with vision and journey onward with a clear compass. Each of us is a node of possibility. Whoever we are, whatever we've got to give. And when one connects to another, nodes become networks. Scattered concern becomes shared direction. And we realize, I am not too small. I am not too late. I am an essential part of Earth's abundance. And when we find our place within it, the healing begins.
Sweet story of a blue dot trying to find its way. And I think a lot of us can feel some resonance of that story, navigating this increasingly mapless world. So I hope that climate wayfinding will help you, like wherever you are on your journey, or help people in your life that maybe are trying to make sense of this situation we're in and the role that they can play. Um, I'll just say one more time for the ample of folks who've just come in. I'm Dr. Katharine Wilkinson. I'm the author of this new book. And we've got some beautiful signed copies. If that would be meaningful to you, you can comment in Facebook or Instagram the word shop. Sorry, very consumery, but that's how the tech knows what to do. It'll send you a link. If you're watching on YouTube, you can click the link that's right there in the description. And if you're on Talk Shop Live, you just click the button. This has been a real pleasure to be with you all. I'm going to read one more passage and then I'm going to sign off and go be in the sunshine on this beautiful Sunday in Atlanta, Georgia. We will continue to face crossroads in the months and years ahead, and they will become more challenging as climate impacts swell. Could our dismay and confusion call us into relationship? Could uncertainty beckon imagination and creative response? Could perception, pluck, and even play join us on the journey? My hope is that we will equip ourselves to greet the inevitable crossroads with more openness, more deftness, and more reciprocity. That we will grow our capacity to sense for openings, for next steps, though we may stumble as we go. Climate wayfinding is about finding our way forward and conjuring the future. Yes, but it is also about remembering. We are each part of this sacred, extravagant community of life, alongside the dark tangles of rhododendrons, the unfurling fronds of ferns, and the rapture of moss in the rain. We and our gifts belong here. Thanks so much, y'all. It's been really sweet to have this time, and let us know how the book serves you. sign up to lead a reading group, and we will be in community with you, supporting you as you do that. And yeah, mostly just blessings for the path forward, whatever it looks like, wherever you are. Take good care, everybody.